it's really important for the industry to have a very diverse community of people making content for it. Like that's really important. And I have had a really lucky experience in my career, and I think that's the reason why I've sort of struggled with knowing how to. I've not had the negative one, so I'm not angry, and I'm not. I've worked with. I haven't worked in sexist environments. And if I have, I've been like completely oblivious to it. But like, I don't think I have. I think I've worked in environments, and I have actually, before Media Molecule, I have worked for women. So I have had the experience of worked for two women, joined the Molecule, lovely people. I've had, so I've had the good one. But I am really concerned about the fact that there are so many bad experiences going on. I'm really concerned that the number of women in the games industry is still so small, and in places decreasing rather than increasing. Because I think the impact that this has on us is very long term, and there have been lots of studies that have been done in Europe and in the UK that show that young girls put off working in technology and games before they are 10. And they're put off because, number one, there's not enough female role models. Number two, the industry doesn't look like a place that is welcoming for them. And that just makes me really sad, because I feel like it's the opposite of those things. There are a lot of amazing women in the games industry. There are a lot of amazing women who are very crucial to a lot of the most amazing games that we all play. And it's sad that perception is there, that there aren't so many. And so I think it's sort of, I am actually much more comfortable not speaking. I love being in the studio, and that's where I like to be. But over the last sort of year, I felt like it's really important that people know that, that it sort of takes all different types of people to make games. And we may have all had similar experiences of how we got into games, and you don't need to have been playing games since you were conceived to work in video games. You can actually join it from another side. So I'm concerned about the fact that I think unless we really do start to try and address it and solve some of these problems, that actually they'll just continue. But at the same time, I'm actually very optimistic. I think that the angle that I've come sort of to think about it is that at the moment there's this sort of big cross-section of things. There's more women playing games than ever before. There's probably, and I'm sure that there are more women that make games, that the stats mustn't be counting some people somewhere, because I don't know if it's thinking of, the mind just boggles if it really is that small. But, there are more women playing games, and I think that therefore, as people are being introduced to games, they're seeing some of the things that all of us have got used to. Maybe have women objectified in games, or shown in games, or there's a lot of brilliant female characters, but then there's also quite a lot of quite terrible examples. And I think when people come to it fresh, they're probably a lot more. They're kind of showing back to us like, what really? Like you're in the industry, and these issues still aren't solved. And I think that's the thing that's going on. So I'm kind of like, well, this is a great time. It's a great time. People are talking about it. But us who run studios, or who are in charge of games, or work in games, we really need to do stuff to help this transition period happen. And in the same way that we're kind of having to cope with console games and mobile games and all of this, I think this is just yet another thing. The games industry is no longer just targeted at a male audience. It is now a very inclusive audience, and that means that some of the old ways of making things, or some of the things that have been acceptable, just won't be anymore, and that's just part of change. So that's good, and we should. I don't want to be on the negative side, because I feel like I didn't have that, so I can't do that. But I definitely am saddened by the idea of thinking like my niece, or my friends' children, my friends' daughters, wouldn't see the fact that what we do is as amazing as it is, because we have the best job in the world. Like we create fantasies from thin air, and we create worlds, and we create fun, and we create pleasure and enjoyment, and we like test people's minds and provide them with relaxation or brain teasing. Like we just have this sort of magician's job of creating, brilliant things. And I have a great life, I can buy the clothes I like, I earn good money. Like, it's like, what isn't there to like about this industry? It's like it's a great industry full of great people, and it depresses me that the perception is not as clear as that. So yes, so for me it's like we all have to do stuff, and I'm not exactly sure what everybody needs to do, but I know that we all need to act, and we can't just all sit as experienced people who've worked in the industry a long time. We can't ignore it. We actually have to be part of the change.